dog emergency, so we're not going to see him.
Oh, well, I hope the dog is okay.
Is Roger still on the board, or is he off now?
We have to discuss that. His wife died, I heard, in March.
Oh, well,
And a friend of mine owns the building he has on Riverside Drive. He said he really hasn't seen him in about a year and a half. And he did see him the other day, and he said he looked pretty rough. He's had a tough time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to do something, but we'll work on that. Why don't we? It's 7:05. Why don't we get this thing rolling, and we'll look at the minutes, call to order, and make a motion to look at the April 5th meeting. Greg did a beautiful job. He sent out the final update on the 15th. Has everybody had a chance to read them? Any comments, or do we make a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second the motion.
Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I guess we have to call everybody. Chip?
Yes, aye.
Greg, yes.
yes.
Phyllis?
Yes.
Paul, your telephone, yeah.
Yes, I wasn't at that meeting, but I did read the minutes and
Okay,
everything's.
and Andy?
Yes.
All righty. Okay, I guess the next thing is public comments. I don't know if we have any public comments. All right. Construction reports. Do we have any new from last meeting, which I didn't see we had anything pending from last. Then we'll get into correspondence. Bruce has here that he has none. So
Okay.
Gibbs D, sea level rise.
sea level rise, Charles. Yeah, do you have Chip? Do you have any updates or any?
Well, I talked to Senator Whitehouse's staff and the environmental person, and had a nice chat, and reinforced how important it is to White House. I was trying to see if they wanted some help, and basically she told me, I don't know if it's true, that they can't take volunteer help. And I said, well, you can have me for minimum wage.
Typical state job.
At any rate, so it was an interesting conversation. Yes, White House is serious, and so, you know, we talked about sea level rise and climate change, and you know, I put in my 2 cents. Well, we got to do more than adapt. We got to do something to encourage the state and the whole country to reduce their CO2. I don't know if you guys saw it. There was an interesting article I read today about fluorohydrocarbons. So they're the things that are in a lot of air conditioners. And the amount, if they could get rid of them, it would count for 2 whole years worth of CO2 being emitted everywhere around the planet.
And
So
Chip, I was
thinking, wow.
I was around at the point where they actually changed the formulation on all of the refrigerants to make them have less fluorocarbons in them. And it was a big improvement, but they're still in there.
So I had the pleasure of being a consultant for General Motors when they had to replace the ones that were making the ozone hole.
Yep.
And so I was a statistical consultant to their reliability studies. And that was a very interesting experience to go through. And we wound up agreeing that their previous studies could be called pillow tests. So we enhanced them quite a lot and did, design of experiments and analysis of lifetime data and so on. It was interesting. But now we got a new thing from these, so.
Have you heard anything about the presentation with the town council? Have they ever gotten back to us?
I haven't heard a word. I had said when I did it that I would prefer to do it when it goes live again. So if they took that as input, then, well, certainly not live yet. More and more of us are getting vaccinated though, so.
Yeah, I have all my vaccines done.
Yeah, me too.
I got all mine.
I've got another
think-
week, and I think I'm set.
I think through this group, but also on either the Projo or the local news, I've seen that there's a statewide working group on climate change or sea level rise and or all of the above. So it seemed to be a lot of organized activity at state level.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I have communicated with a few of those folks, and I volunteered to be on their scientific panel. Right now, there aren't any openings. I did also volunteer to take one of the open board positions on CMRC. Those are done by the governor. So I got my assemblymen assemblywoman to put my name up to the governor with my background. So got to do something about this thing. All right.
All righty. Old business, we have the Seapowet and the Fogland boat ramp. I see in last month, DPW reports no history of having to maintain the road, and Bruce states that he will ask the DTW to do some maintenance there, but I have not seen whether I haven't been there. I don't know if anything's progressed.
I went by there yesterday and then looked, they haven't touched it.
Yeah.
The Seapowet access to Jack's Island.
Yeah.
And the Fogland boat ramp, I went by there I think it was the day before yesterday. I just went for a ride and nothing happened there.
I wonder if on that boat ramp with the fire department, because I think the fire department has a say on, or they actually clear for access for fire and stuff on the road. So if the town's not going to open up that road, maybe the fire department would.
Oh, yeah.
More accessible.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing down there except the bird sanctuary on one side and the private property on the other side.
Yeah, the one home.
Yeah. Yeah, but it would be nice if they, even to take some of that ground up road stuff and resurface that access, which is about, I don't know, it's maybe 300 yards to get down to the bottom there. But Bruce, he sent a letter to the town.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he sent a letter to the state about the Fogland boat ramp, because that might be state. And we weren't clear on both of those. And it would be nice if they could kind of refurbish the Fogland one, if the state could do that. But I don't know if there's any state money for such a thing. But that's what, I don't know who he would send it to in the state, but or if he did send it to someone, but I think that was the step one. I know he'd sent something to the town about Seapowet, because that's not state, that's town. And that's really just access to a waterway, almost more like a right of way, you know.
You say Seapowet, is that different from Jack's?
No, I'm talking about Jack's when I say Seapowet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Are those still big potholes in that road? I mean, that's a terrible road to drive down.
Yeah, they're still like that. Especially when it rains, it's like a foot deep.
Yeah. Now that road, I mean,
I won't even take my
Hey,
car
that's-
out there.
that's
No,
a
I don't
nice
even
little
want-
beach.
Yeah, it's a nice little beach down there. Nice little place to launch stand-up paddleboard or a kayak or a dinghy or, you know, anything like that, you know, even for some swimming and stuff like that. It's nice. It's a nice little area. One of the things that I did want to bring up with this Seapowet is if that's a town, if it's town maintained and it's a town access point, would this be tough for town residents only? And should there be a sign there, you know, that says for town access point for town residents only, you know? And I don't know if that could be done, but I'm sure that I was going through the harbor management plan, and there's a whole slew of these access points that are in there, you know, public access points, and quite a few of them, and it's like goes from page 43 to 51, but none of them are marked. There's, you know, the only real the public beach is, you know, Fogland Beach, and but that's a town beach, and so is Grinnell's. And but there's a whole slew of access points to the water, and you know, my question is, I don't know if it's something we need to find out. So, is if all these public right-of-ways are for town residents only, you know? Because I mean, if you open it up to anybody in the state or anybody in the country, whoever wants to go from wherever, you know, you could have I don't know, a situation where, you know, people find out about it that come from Timbuktu, and next thing you know, you got 100 people trying to get to a place where there's only really room for 5 or 6 cars, you know. So I think that's one of the big questions about these right-of-ways and these access
I
points.
understand it, and that's at least Rhode Island residents. Any Rhode Island resident can use those access points.
Yeah. Do you know that for a fact, or?
No, that's my
No?
understanding, though.
Okay.
Probably if you contact.
Well, I mean, they should be marked as such
find it
because,
out.
you know, anybody who, you know, has a Massachusetts license plate wouldn't be able to park, wouldn't be able to go there, you know.
Yeah, well, check out CMRC. It might even be on their website, or you can call them.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'll try to see if there's something there. I don't know.
We studied most of those points, and unfortunately, a lot of them are abutted by private land, and the people don't want cars around there, so they ended up taking the signs down. And a lot of those are parking is a big issue, you know, and I don't blame some of these people. Down at the bottom of Riverscape, over at Nanaquacket, is a public right of way, but people don't want cars parked all around there, and so there's no indication. It's not like in Bristol. Bristol has these granite posts that say public right of way. But
who's to stop anybody from knocking those down?
Well, these things, you're not going to knock them down. They're
put a big stone, you know.
Big
stone with a
right, and with a nice plaque on them. And the same thing over in Common Fence Point in Island Park. But
really, that's
one
what
problem.
all these access points need. You know, I mean, not to say that I'm going to use them, but you know, they should. You know, next thing you know, that you're going to build some condos or some properties. You know, it's going to go away, and then what? And then what do you do? You know, none of them are marked.
Well, the harbor management plan lists all of them, just as you said.
Yeah, it lists. Well, I don't know if it lists all of them, but it lists quite a few of them.
I forget how many are listed, but there's a good number of them. If you go to find them, you can't really find them.
Yeah, no, you can't. And I've been around looking for some, and I see that sign. I always see the signs: private property, keep out. You know, no trespassing, all that stuff. And that's pretty much every one that I've gone to. And they're
You're exactly right.
you know?
No, I guess I would think that the town, I guess if the town decided to restrict access, or at any level really, the town or the state, I guess they could try to do that, but I would put in a plug for, like with my kayaking hat on, you know, I've wandered all over Narragansett Bay and all over New England, you know, and basically I go online or I find some local guides or whatever that, you know, point out places that you can put in kayaks and do your thing. And so people travel all over, you know, the East Coast looking to do that in particular, looking for kite surfing spots, looking, you know, so I'm not sure you would be able to, or would want to restrict it. I mean, that's a tourism thing, if nothing else.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to be,
open.
yeah, we wouldn't want to be restricted from hiking in the White Mountains, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but there are certain areas that are public areas and certain areas that are town areas. I mean, like Grinnell's Beach, okay, how come we don't charge for parking for our residents in the town, but we do for out-of-towners?
Well, I'd say the default is it's all open, it's all free access unless decided otherwise, and that's go through a process which we haven't for most places, right? So
yeah.
I
don't know. We should
I'd like to ask back and ask about Phyllis's suggestion about the fire department's interest. How is there a? Yeah, I mean that to me makes sense too. I mean something.
Well, you know, I was reading something on somewhere, and I can't remember where, and it was talking about that the fire department does provide, you know, does do road maintenance and stuff for their vehicles. So I thought that would be maybe another option.
You know, I think in this case, it would be ineffective because the fire department's interest is to clear to the last house. And the last house in this case is just right up by Seapowet Road and not anywhere near close to where the beach is.
Yeah,
So
but for emergency for a house, I mean, emergency access to the water, I don't know. It's just a thought that the fire department might want to.
There was a problem on around the Winnisimmet. It would be nice if the fire department would be able to come down that road and have access to that beach.
Yeah, for emergency. Yeah.
Well, brush fires too, even though there are no houses out there, I would think, you know, there could theoretically be brush fires that they would want to get to. So what, you know, why not ask the question? Then we'd know. How do we do that?
Well, the fire chief, I actually visited the fire chief back when we were talking about the flood gauges. I found them very cooperative and very willing to listen.
Yeah. I can talk with them. I talk with
Bruce,
the fire marshal all the time.
Bruce, the new fire chief, seems like a pretty approachable guy. I don't know. I think it's a shame to have that access there and having that resource and not being able to let people get there. I mean, you need a Hummer to get in there. I mean, it's crazy. A tank. But
there is really no room to park when you do get in there. There's room for a couple of cars, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, parking, that's the whole problem with these public right-of-ways is the parking. You know, walking in or being on a bike is one thing, but when people start parking, cars are a problem. I mean, they're just...
Again, if you widen that access road, if you go in and cut 10 feet back on the sides, you know, now you got room for parking up the side of the road, you know. But it's all grown over.
I doubt that's going to happen.
You said you're going to reach out to the fire chief and ask him? Is that what I heard?
Me, or was that?
Yeah, Phyllis. Yeah.
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Okay, I'll put that down.
There's a whole, I'm getting a little off the subject. A whole bunch of row accesses that are listed, 21. 2 of them are private. 2 of them are the old boat ramps. And then everything else says row access. And then if you go up further on these access points, there's a list of, where is it? I can't find it. I'm in the habit management plan looking for it. But there's a whole list of places that aren't on the graph, you know, and I don't know if we should. I think they should all be researched. I can't find them now.
Let's take one at a time. Let's try to do something with Jack's Island. You know?
Well, I think what we got to do too is we got to get with the town council on this and have some means. The town's going to have to. Somebody's going to have to pay for these markers, you know, and I'm assuming the town should have, because we need to work on it as part of the harbor management plan. The town needs to support that, you know, and if CRMC is going to make us work on it, then the town needs to support that, just like the town of Bristol has with the markers to these access points to the water. You know, I'm sure it's going to tick a lot of people off, but it was there when they bought their properties, so yeah, it shouldn't be
A surprise.
but yeah, any surprise to them. So, I mean, if they've blocked it off and put no trespassing, then they've gotten away with that for a number of years. But I don't think that would fall under you know, the 10-year you know, what do you call it? Because it's a state. It's not
Adverse
Eminent
possession.
domain.
private property. Yeah.
No,
What do you call it?
Adverse possession. Adverse
possession.
possession.
I don't think it would fall under that adverse possession unless there was a condo built on it or something like that. Then there may be a way to, you know, say, oh, you shouldn't have built that. Put that condo there. What are you going to do? Knock it down, or are you going to give us access through that property to get to that same point? You know, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how
I
that
think
all.
what you need to do is contact CMRC.
Yeah.
They're the ones who establish, you know, who maintain that, their rule. So let me strongly encourage you to call them. I found them very willing to call, to talk to, and to give me suggestions.
Yeah, is that the way to go, or is that?
Yes. That's my recommendation. Call CMRC.
Paul, you want to call them, CRMC, and just, you know, ask
I
them?
don't know how far I'm going to get with them.
Well, try
you know,
it. See what happens.
You're a nice guy. They'll listen to you.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy. Nice guys finish last.
Yeah,
maybe we
I
should
lost
send
my
them a letter.
connection. I lost my connection for a minute. Can you tell me where we are on the agenda and what the?
We were just talking about. I've been elected to call CRMC
About what?
Yes.
about these right-of-way accesses in the harbor management plan.
It's your issue. You're the one who keeps
Well,
bringing it up.
it's
So
my issue. I did, but I think a letter might be a better way to go.
I strongly encourage you to start with a phone call. And then tell us next meeting what you found out.
Okay, give me somebody to call.
Call CMRC and ask them, tell them what the issue is, and they will connect you.
Okay. I'll look them up on the internet.
You'll find their number on the internet.
I will give them a
CRMC,
call.
not it's CRMC, Coastal Resource Management.
Management Council.
Tell me again what the question is he's trying to get answered. I missed.
Whose responsibility is it to keep the? These are the questions I'm going to ask. These town right-of-ways, these access points, are they all state access points, or just for the town? Access points to water, the right-of-ways, and I don't know. I guess that's all the question I'll have for them at this point. And
Well, you can ask them what law does that, what their regulations tell you about that.
Yeah, what we need to do, I guess, regulations too.
And also markers, you know, what's the story on
Markers, yeah. And should they all be marked, and whose responsibility is it to mark them?
Yeah, and if everyone in the state has access, then maybe the state actually will pay rather than the town for the,
Well, you would think that if
Yeah.
that was a state access to
yeah,
the water,
jurisdiction.
then the state would be responsible for putting the markers up. But well, we'll see. I'll ask that question.
That'd be a good call.
Yep. Okay. And if I don't get anything there, then I'm gonna of course ask for something in writing, and if I need to write them a letter, then I'll write them a letter. I don't know if I should write them a letter or if the town, the Harbor Commission should write the letter, or on behalf of the Harbor Commission. I don't know.
Well, let's cross.
Report in next time and we'll figure out who writes the letter.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
All right.
All right, the next thing is the US Geological Survey. Any news on that? Anybody have any info?
Yeah, I can see the data, but it's really not particularly valuable to us. I can't get the actual soundings to show up numerically on the chart, and seeing the data graphically doesn't really provide us much value. What I would recommend is just dropping it off the agenda, and if I have some epiphany as I deal with it a little bit more, then I'll put it back on the agenda.
Okay, well that sounds good. Moving on, the dinghy landing at the Stone Bridge. I have been in touch with Rick Rogers. He is very anxious to do something. He is more than willing to help. He has the floats and he has the ramp, and we've agreed they're all in great shape. The problem is he cannot do anything without knowing where the funds are coming from. And because of the pandemic, the whole thing got kind of put on hold. But he had said the money's still there. I talked to Jay Edwards, who's on the town council. He called because he knew that we were talking about this. He volunteered his help, and I told him about the money. So he was going to investigate when the money is available. And I also called Chris Cotta, the town administrator, and asked him where the money was. And everybody says the money's there, but nobody knows where.
Was that the 10,000 that was supposed to be budgeted for?
The Harbor
for
Commission
that?
put in exactly. We put in a request for 10, not even knowing that Rick put in a request for 10. So it was kind of ironic. We both had figures of 10. And we feel no doubt we can do the job for that amount of money. And Fred Souza, Fred's Landscaping, he's got a guy that can put in pilings, because we're probably going to need 2 pilings. He can do pilings for around $1,200 a piece. We're going to need probably 2 of them. I've also got volunteers, a couple of friends of mine, a buddy over in Nanaquacket, a guy over in April Lane, people who volunteered, Jay Edwards. We've got anxious to do this, and it's frustrating that the town can't figure out where the money is. And
well, I think the first step on that, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, was we needed to get an engineer to transition from the abutment to.
No, I talked to Rick about that. Rick said that's not an issue. He can do that. I mentioned that I said you got to do that. He said he could cut that away in a heartbeat. And he's got engineers and people that can approve it. So that is not the stumbling point.
I mean, as long as we have something that's in drawing, something that's that's engineering.
No, it's just a question of, it's like making a curb cut. All they have to do is go down there.
No. It's more than that. It's a safety issue. Remember we talked about this.
All right.
It's a safety issue.
He assured me that he can do it. It's just a question of getting the approval. Now, Paul, if you want to speak to him, give me my guest. Go.
No. We need to get somebody who was an engineer that could draw that drawing. I'm sure he could do it, but without an engineer drawing, we stand to have a liability. And I think that's the question was in the first meeting, and then when we started to discuss this, is to get an engineer drawing. Now there was some guy Smith or something like that.
Bill Smith, Bill's a good guy, but you'll die waiting for him to do the job. I've dealt with him. I mean, there's other engineers we could get to do it. The problem is figuring out where the money is.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's we're just in hold. It's frustrating because here we are, the 3rd of May, and it's time's ticking, and it's just I don't know what we
Who
do.
would know? Who in the town system should be the person or the entity that would know definitively? Is it the town administrator? Is it the town council president? Is it the budget committee? Who would have the info?
Probably Denise Surratt. Probably she's the treasurer. She probably knows more than anybody. But I don't want to go to her because I've already spoken to Chris and I've spoken to Jay, and I don't want to go behind their back. And they should
They should be able to find out.
They should be able to figure out where the money is. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Department of Public Works? Department of
No,
Public.
because the money wouldn't go to them.
no, they wouldn't go. No,
No.
Rick's the head of DPW. He is ready to do it, and he knows the money's there. Everybody knows the money's there. They just, yeah, I mean, it's like a comedy show.
You need a blessing. You need the blessing from the Pope.
Exactly. And I don't even know when this financial town meeting is going to be. It seems to be postponed. So it's we've got all the pieces. We've got the people. We've got everything. We just need the okay on the funds. Anybody that's got any ideas or suggestions, God bless. Let's hear them.
Well, Dave,
Yeah, maybe
thanks
start
for
with
plugging in
Denise. Like,
there. No?
You know,
Well, you might have to wait till the new budgets are active, which is July 1st. That's when the budgets come out.
no, you're right, Tyler. But the problem, you're right. But the thing is,
Because I'm waiting on trailer money too for capital expense, and that won't, even if it is approved, I won't have it until July 1st.
yeah. For some reason, they think that the money was, because it was approved for the 2000, I guess it was 2020 budget, or 2000, maybe it's 19. But because it was approved, the money should be available, but it doesn't appear that way. But, maybe at the latest, when do you say, July 1st?
Yeah, July 1st is when the new budget starts and when
Right.
the funds become available.
Hmm. Well, I don't know. Rick, you think Rick could do it on credit for, for the town, go ahead and do it knowing he's going to get paid, but that's where we stand, unfortunately. Anybody has any ideas, that'd be terrific. But
There's a Fred in the attendees room that has their hand raised. I don't know if you want to bring them in.
oh yeah. How do we do that? Oh, Fred, there's Fred.
Hello,
Hi, Fred.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I spoke with Rick this afternoon about maybe 11 o'clock this morning, and he is ready to move forward. He did want to verify that there was money available. I did take some time today to go down to the Stonebridge abutment, took a few measurements so we can kind of have a mental plan of what needs to be done. We need a 10-foot ramp to go from the blacktop at the Stonebridge side to reach the edge of the wooden piling, or the I guess you want to call it the pier that's
Right.
existing. So we need an 11-foot ramp. We need to take out 2 concrete blocks, and that ramp is going to have a 3-foot drop over 10 feet. And that's so I would think we need handrails on either side of the aluminum ramp, and it needs to be screwed down in concrete, and needs to be screwed down on the timbers on the other side. And we need to assemble a railing on that I measured the landing is 14 feet wide. So we need a railing on that side. So that's surrounded. They have the docks. I think the biggest thing is Rick's ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't think we need any money just yet. I think we should put the docks in, chain them up, use the ramp we have. And, I'll come up with a donation to get that ramp in. And then when they give us the money, then we'll finish it with the money to do it right.
Well, I was under the impression from Rick that he can't really even bring the ramps over to the place or do anything until he has been, until the money's been allocated to, I guess pay for their time and effort. I mean,
Oh, their time and effort. So what are you saying? The payroll for the Public Works Department, is that it?
yes, I guess so. I mean, that was the impression I got, that he can't do anything until he knows that the money is there to.
Yep. He talked about it. He talked about it briefly for a second this morning.
Yeah.
He said he was going to verify that the money was there.
Yeah.
But like you said, we're in a, this is like a monkey chasing a greased football.
Yeah.
We've got 99%. We have the permission, we have the support, we have an approved budget, we have all the materials. The only thing that's holding us back is that ramp, the access from the wooden pier to the stone pier.
Right.
And I think I told Rick I would meet him down there on Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning, if anybody else wanted to go, and just kind of talk about maybe how we would go about bridging the gap between the two pilings. And after we get the floats in and we kind of see what we need, we could drive the other pilings later. He was concerned about the rot on the existing pilings. I told him we'd check it out at low tide with a hammer and maybe an ice pick, check the integrity of the pilings. But I said we kind of jump on it, and we'll send him a bill.
I'll definitely be there. No, that's fantastic. I mean, it's just, no, you're right. We've got 90% of it. We just need to, I've got volunteers. I've got some guys who'll definitely go down and help. And
right. So we got 90% of what we need, right? And we'll send them a bill for what we've done. And
Fred,
what's it going to cost us for that ramp to go 10 feet
is it Fred?
with railings? It's going to,
Fred?
I mean,
Fred?
yeah.
Fred, you say the budget's been approved. How do you know the budget's been approved? Because I haven't heard anything.
According to Rick Rogers today, he told me that he had heard that the budget was approved.
that's what I heard too.
Right. So it seems to be, I think it's been approved. And like you said, we all just don't know how to get our hands on it yet. The $10,000 is a fantastic investment in that dock, in that area down there. But we can, with what we have, get it in. And then once we get the money, make improvements on it to make it first class,
No, it could be really cool. I mean, we've gotten the parts that we have are excellent. The aluminum ramp is nice, the floats are nice, and with $10,000, we can really fill in the gaps. I mean,
yeah, but we don't need it to get it started.
No, I don't think so. No,
I measured, like I said, I went down there today to measure the gap between the stone bridge and the existing wooden pilings and dock that's built there already. That's 10 feet. I had an 8-foot ramp. That was like a truck ramp.
Yeah.
That would have been ideal, but it's kind of on the short side. But so now at least I know what we're looking for. So we can kind of come up with something with a measurement, and maybe Rick will have a couple of suggestions. Maybe he's got something kicking around that the town can give us to use.
Right.
But he's ready. So I think we should meet him, and I think we should move forward regardless of the money.
I'll definitely be there, and I'll try and get Bruce to be there. But no, that's a great start. Really, I thank you very much for doing that on the call.
That worked out good. I was on a loose pulley today, and I was able to make the time to talk to him. And I'm working in town this week, so I can be there.
Beautiful.
And I told him, I said I'd volunteer the backhoe to pull out those couple of concrete blocks.
Wow.
And we could at least get the ball rolling. I told him I would transport the docks from Public Works Yard down to the waterfront. And I think we should make it happen.
Well, I'll be there, and I'm going to bring one or two of my volunteer friends that are pretty knowledgeable. They're both experienced in construction and whatever, and they're just more the merrier. I really want to push this through. It's just
You confirm, please. That's 9 o'clock Thursday morning. This Thursday, is that what you said?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
beautiful.
And something else we're gonna have to think about with that dock is if we're gonna get it, we're gonna have to start thinking of rules and regulations, what we're gonna allow, what we're not
Right.
gonna allow.
No, you're right. No, that's,
So it's not a free-for-all. We got
no.
boats flying up there in the middle of summer, hogging the dock.
no,
Oh.
we've got to put up signs, and Tyler, that's one thing we all got to talk about is, time limit, no overnight people there, and, we've got to.
In the past, was it not a touch and go situation and dinghies on one side? Was that not how it was handled before?
Dinghy's on one side. We talked, and remember Tyler mentioning something about renting the dinghy spot.
Right.
Dinghy spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
how it was set up in the past, correct?
we're gonna have to think of a fee and whether we're gonna do a sticker program or what we're gonna do if we're gonna make it a dinghy dock, or if we're gonna do one side a transient dock also. Like just a quick tie up.
It's got to be both. It's got to be transient, and I think maybe it's $50 or $100 to leave your dinghy there. I mean, dinghy spots are worth a premium, so I would say, I mean, I'm just shooting from the hip. You could probably charge $100 or something, maybe more. I don't know.
So I don't think you'd have any problem with that.
It's cheap enough getting stickers made, and we have to patrol it. But no, it's on one side, dinghies on the other, and the people are renting a spot, and you have a 12-foot limit, or the 12-foot limit on the size of the boat. The renters.
Yeah, see, that's all stuff we're gonna have to get together, get down right in, and make it. That's what it is.
No, I mean, it's got to have some teeth in it, and if you have the thing there and we have the rules, then we got to patrol it, and it's you just got to kind of follow what they do in Newport. I mean, but it's a resource that we really want to maximize, and for the town and everything.
So when it comes time after we install it, I think we talked about maybe trying to add a piece to it, or a T section off of it. And I don't know, like out in Block Island, on Block Island, they have a floating section that's right up on the sandy beach, and that oftentimes is on the beach.
Yeah, right. I've seen that over near, but the boat basin.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's another place to tie up. And would add a little more income.
Phyllis has the drawings, right, Phyllis?
Actually, Bruce has them right now.
All right, Bruce has them. All right, so we have the drawings. I'll grab the drawings between now and then, so we have that. And it might be a deal where it's a phase 1 and phase 2. This year, maybe if we're lucky, we'll get phase 1 done. Then we can look at any type of possible expansion. Because I think years ago, and Paul knows better than I do, but there used to be, I think, two different floats there, weren't there?
Right.
There were two separate piers there back in the I think it was the 80s or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think what we have to look back, on is what we're permitted for.
Right.
And because we want to stick to that as close as possible.
Right.
Because when we do want to ask for an expansion, or we want to put a T off of it for, over in Bristol, it's nice. They actually have a pump out station. They have a place where you have a place to tie up for a couple minutes. We all know what it's like waiting for that one transient guy to get his bag of ice and get off. It's nice to have two spots. So I think we should just keep that in mind when that budget for 10 grand comes up. I think it's a golden egg. I don't think we're going to get it again. And I think John, my buddy who does the pilings, even if we're not going to use the piling, I think we should drive it this summer. And we can always, the floats are easy to come by, the pilings aren't. I think we should jam another piling in and check the integrity of the rest. And we're going to have ourselves a sweet little spot for the public, not just Tiverton residents, but for people to visit town, invest their money, spend money in restaurants, and have a presence on the river, because we don't have one right now. It's embarrassing.
No, this is exciting. I mean,
years down the road, we can expand on that. I think we can expand on that. There's certainly plenty of land.
To Tyler's point, I think if we get at least this first part that Fred is talking about in place, that's the time to start on the regs, even before anybody can get to it.
You know what I did? You know what I did think about today, guys, was the parking. How are we going to handle? And I'm not trying to complicate this by any means. And I'll walk a mile to the dinghy. It doesn't matter. What the parking. Say you get 20 people in town that have dinghies there. Nobody's going to use them all at the same time. But you do have to. We're going to have to talk about the parking, they're not gonna be able to park at the beach. And where would they park? South Avenue,
Well-
that kind of thing.
There's a parking place behind the red dory that the town owns.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
that's a pretty good sized lot there
It's a
too.
good lot. Maybe you could combine a ticket with a place to park and a place for your dinghy and charge them $500.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Awesome.
Yep.
Yep.
No,
Sounds good.
that lot is there, and if you would combine the two, and it's strictly, that parking lot would be strictly for people that had a dinghy at the dock.
Well, that
I
would be
don't
great.
know. We
That
got
would
to
be
get the
great.
thing rolling.
Well, and there's another opportunity for the town to make a couple of bucks on parking. I mean, I went by there, was it Sunday, and the beach was closed, the gate was closed,
Yeah, I
and there
know.
were cars all over the place. And the town could grab a couple of bucks. $5 is plenty. A couple bucks, anything.
Was it
don't know
Memorial
why-
Day it opens up for the season?
Why was it closed on Sunday?
I don't know, but
lot of
I did
times they
notice they
just-
put the.
I
They
think,
just don't get down there to open it. The
I think they
police,
forgot
think-
to open it, but no, there
Yeah,
were
they
cars
forgot
all
to.
over the place, parking
Right.
all over the space.
So Thursday,
All right.
Thursday at 9,
I'll be there, and I'll have the
and,
plan.
and we're gonna push this elephant over the wall. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, anybody else that wants to join us, that'd be fabulous, but I'll be there.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much. That's
right.
excellent news. Very good.
Yep. Hey, I was scrambling to get onto this meeting. I had to laugh. I said,
Oh,
I can
good.
hear it, but I can't get on it.
I'm glad you made it.
Okay. Good night,
All right,
guys.
Fred. See you
Thank you.
Thursday.
All right. Bye now.
Thanks, Fred.
Now, that's really excellent news. I mean, that's we've got to do this. It's just gotta. All right.
Might want to put that on next month's agenda, rules and regs for the dinghy dock.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you
Yeah,
might
Tyler.
want to
That's,
get
I
a
mean,
blessing
if
from the
that
town.
dock goes in and there's no regulations or anything, it's a free for all.
Yeah.
yeah. No,
You
we
might
have
get
to.
some kind of blessing from the town council too. You gotta. You can't just go ahead and do something like that without the town council knowing
Yeah,
when
no,
it's gonna happen.
all the rules and regs need to be made up and they all need to be approved by a town council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well-
appreciate your interest in trying to move that along, Tyler, but I think we've had so much trouble to get any progress whatever that right after we get the first progress, the kind that Fred is talking about, is the time that it'll be a good time to start on rules and regs. Before then, and who knows if we'll ever get the damn thing.
But we're not going to be able to do anything on this meeting. I mean, we don't have the time to get into detailed discussions of a particular project like, coming up with the rules and regs. That has to somehow be done off to the side in a process like the harbor management plan. So
Right.
I'm sure there's state guidelines too of exactly what the signs have to say.
yeah, I mean, I think everything everybody's been saying has been, useful and good, but we can't get it done on this meeting. That's all got to be done.
No.
we
But
can't.
it's,
So,
no, I agree. But we just have to get the ball rolling, and the other stuff will come. If we have to, we'll put a chain on them. People can't use it until we get rules. But we gotta strike while the iron's hot. We've got people ready to roll, and they've got some money. We let's do it. Apologize later. Ask for forgiveness.
Certainly
I don't know.
There's the Newport, and other places in Rhode Island.
What's that?
There are other places that have dinghy docks already.
Yeah.
You tell us Newport does, others do. So there are some model rules and regs.
Yeah.
You don't have to start from scratch.
No, I'm on the waterfront committee at the 2 yacht clubs and some other stuff, and I'll find out what Newport's doing. I'll talk to the new harbor master there. We'll get a good basis on what other people are doing, and it's not rocket science. You have to figure out what the going rate is and charge it, and some people go for it and some won't. And we're only going to have so many spots. We're probably only going to have a dozen spots.
Yeah.
And Christ, I'd put a dinghy there in a heartbeat. It'd be very cool.
Sounds good.
I don't think we have any trouble selling the spots.
I think Kenny with his Kenny at Standish Boatyard, I think he charges $100 for a dinghy you have for a dinghy spot, if you have a boat in either dock or on moorings. So
Have you ever tried to get in his dinghy dock? You have to walk across 4 boats to get there. I mean, it's a horror show. And
I know I did it for
No.
5 years.
yeah, I mean, and I talked to him about it. He is totally in favor of it. He thinks the best thing in the world. He'd probably help put the stuff in. You know, it only is going to help his business because transients can't get into that, to that dinghy dock of his.
Yeah.
Calling it a dinghy dock is a joke.
And can I just say that Kenny's been very gracious. I've been there for a lot of years. Kenny's been very gracious, trying to buy all my fuel there. He's been a great asset.
Yeah.
He works his butt off. But you're right. He's got a difficult spot to access. You know, there's no parking at his place either.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough. So it's going to be a good thing for everybody involved. And the parking lot, that's just a bonus. I had no idea we owned that. That was great. So we're in for a good time. We're in for a good time. I think one of the problems we might have is we're going to have limited spots. I think you're going to have more demand than you think.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
that's a
I
good
do
problem.
believe so.
Yeah.
That's a good problem. And
I would say
and
that maybe after the first year, the town might want to put more in, like you say, along the shoreline, dinghy dock and something like that. Maybe even a second pier
well, why?
would be nice.
Yeah, I think we're spinning our wheels. Can we keep moving with the agenda?
Yeah, let's
Yep.
go. Yes,
We can talk about all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yep, I hear. All right. The flood hazard mitigation poles. Any news on that, or anybody have any input? Anything?
No,
No.
Bruce has that idea to put, he even got, if I remember right, he even got NIMO to agree to putting those bands around the phone poles.
Well, we're talking to National Grid, and it sounded like, yeah.
National Grid, yeah. That's my memory. So let's see
All
what
right.
Bruce has to say next time. That'd be the
All right.
easiest thing and the cheapest thing.
Yeah. All right. Number 5, aquaculture ordinances. Any talk about working something with Bluebell Cove and Portsmouth and
I don't know.
about those.
I don't know nothing about that. Is that part of the harbor management plan?
I think it was a letter that came from the Portsmouth to see if we had any issue with them putting the farms, the agricultural farms there, oyster farms. And the only thing
Portsmouth was wanting to do something in Bluebell Cove, and they had at least one proposal for a new farm in Bluebell Cove, and that would be on the Portsmouth agenda if anyone's interested in attending the next meeting, which
I think may have already passed,
gonna
but
be there.
I did send that
Where's
to the yacht club. To
Where's
see.
Bluebell Cove?
come on, Paul, Bluebell Cove, the other side of the escape bridge near Pirate Cove Marina.
I thought that particular issue was about when the state is discussing aquaculture projects and stuff, CRMC and everything else, that there be some ordinance or some direction that there's a mandatory requirement to notify the towns that are affected by it. I thought that's what the discussion of this item was about. And
All right.
working on it, I thought. So
Yeah.
I don't think we've got anything on it tonight. Yeah.
No.
Nothing to do with it.
All right, the next one was the about a Zoom meeting, the harbor management, and Bruce got a letter back from the town solicitor saying that basically reached out. Let me see. Basically, he said we could use where is this thing?
Right, the new business.
The use of private Zoom, as long as it's posted and advertised so people can view it, is that it's happening. It should be recorded on Zoom as well for posting. So basically, we can do it as long as we let the public know. The harbor management when we work on that. Stonebridge docks.
That the same thing we already did?
I think we just discussed that.
Yeah.
There's an abandoned boat on Riverside Drive that's been there forever. Tyler, do you know anything about that thing? You know, right across from, right on Evans Avenue, the intersection there.
No, it's been there forever. That's all I know.
I mean,
Is that the bait shop's property? Or?
that's state property.
No.
I didn't even know it was there. I was down there today, didn't see.
Well, it's so hidden in the bushes, you know, you really can't see it, but it's been there for
Oh, the one that's the one that's on the side of the road. Yeah, it's been
a
there
little
for 5 years.
sailboat. It's kind of a mustard colored O'Day 20, and it's been there forever. And it's,
Yeah,
we ought to-
don't know who's.
we ought to talk to DPW or the state or something, because it's just, and I looked at it, there's no serial numbers or there's no registration on it.
Hello?
Yeah,
So-
it is an eyesore. There's a name.
No,
But it could be on private property for all I know.
no, that's
Could be
state
that.
property. That's state
state
property. And they bought the whole thing for the bridge. That's, to my knowledge, I talked to Bruce about it. But-
It's
Hello?
been there a lot of years.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
That little sailboat that you're talking about,
yes.
I believe that boat belongs to the house above it. Because when the house above it changed hands, that boat showed up at the time I had a boat in the marina at Riverside Marine. That boat showed up when those people bought that house. So I would knock on the door of that second house that's above it. And I would check with them because I am 99% sure that belongs to them.
All right, I'll look into it, because it's been there for years and it's not going anywhere. It's not.
It's got to be full of water. I don't know how it can't be.
Yeah, it's got to be. Unless he drilled a hole in the nose.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
that's ugly. Okay.
All right, thanks, Fred. And we'll look into that.
Another thing, Tyler, can I mention too for Tyler? Is there
Yeah.
there's a boat. I don't know if it's still there this week, but last week it was there off in the cove on Portsmouth, right off 24. It's right on the beach. A sailboat that's washed up.
Oh, yeah, I saw that last week.
Yeah. Anybody know
Okay.
anything about that? Of
No,
course, that's
that
Portsmouth.
Yeah, that's Portsmouth. That washed up, I don't know, probably middle of the winter. That used to be all in front of flows, and then the guy anchored and the anchor broke free, and it was on the island with the house on it, and then it blew off of there and went over there.
Yeah, because it's gonna if it goes floating again, it's probably who knows where it's gonna end up. Might be Tiverton's problem after that, you know. But
Yeah, people
Where
have
is
been
it?
stripping
Where is
that
it now?
boat.
Bluebell Cove?
Yeah,
I guess I never
but-
knew it was called Bluebell Cove. Lived here all my life, but it's just been the cove to me.
yeah, where you access it from the highway there, it was right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it when I drove by.
That's in Portsmouth.
Mhm.
Number 4, in the gut area, there's a piling that I mentioned to Tyler about, and it looks like a piling that either came out of possibly the old Manchester seafood place, because it looks kind of like one of theirs. But we've got to talk to the DPW or somebody about getting that out of there, because it never drifted out, got somewhere, it could really do damage, and it's just somebody tied it to the south end of the gut, and it's inside the little cove there, and we really should get rid of that thing.
Now, was that moved over to the south end? Because when I've seen it, I believe it was on the east side, all the way up against the corner there.
Well, if you drive along, it's right at the
Yeah,
intersection
no,
where.
I know where it is now, but when I seen it a while ago, it was on the east side.
Really?
Yeah. And it was
well-
underwater at high tide.
Maybe it came from Evelyn's, or maybe a dock.
No.
Karam just had a bunch of new pilings put in, the dock rebuilt.
Maybe it came from him. It had to go under that little bridge, you know, and on Main Road, and it had to get in there. But somebody tied it up to a tree or something at this very, south end of where Main Road and Highland Road meet. But we really should get that thing out of there somehow.
So Dave, you're gonna see the DPW chief on Thursday morning? Could
Yeah, I'll
you?
mention it to him.
Yeah,
Yeah, he may, Rick is good. He may not even know about it. So I will definitely talk to him and see if we can pick it up. It looks like it's a pretty good piling, but it obviously broke off at the base, but it's got to be at least 25 feet long.
Probably waterlogged too.
Oh yeah, well it's got to get out of there. So I will, I'll talk to Rick Rogers about it on Thursday. Harbor Master report. You got anything there?
The boat's in, running well. I gotta get the no wake buoys out probably this week or next. And mooring renewals are still coming in. Probably about 75-80% all in by now.
Beautiful. The boat status, boat's good. All right. Anything else? Chip, your favorite words? You're off the mic.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.